All right, let's dive right in. What if we could peel back the layers of history, all the stories we've been told, and see it for what it really is, a series of data points? There's this incredible method called data journaling, and honestly, it has the power to change how we see, well, pretty much everything.
So, let's really sit with that question for a second. What if everything you've ever learned about history, the epic tales of empires rising and falling, the clear-cut heroes and villains, what if it's all just a story? I mean, a narrative that's been shaped by whoever won the war, or maybe by people who were just plain biased, or maybe even by people who just didn't have all the facts at the time.
And that question, well, it brings us right to the heart of the matter. We're talking about a fundamental conflict here, the battle between the stories we're told and the cold, hard facts. It's this constant tension, you see, between subjective narrative and objective data.
Okay, let's break this down. The thing about narratives is they're flexible. They can be twisted, they can be manipulated, they prey on our feelings to push an agenda, which, let's be honest, is a pretty shaky foundation for the truth. But data? Data's different. It's immutable. You can't argue with it. It's the raw material of what actually happened. Data shows us the patterns, the math behind the curtain, not just a convenient story someone wanted to tell. It's the bedrock. It's fact.
So if we all agree that narratives can be a problem, what's the solution? Well, it's not just a quick fix. It's a whole new way of looking at things, a completely different philosophy for understanding the world, one that steps away from just interpreting stories and moves toward pure, unadulterated analysis.
And this is the core of that whole philosophy. It's called data journaling. Now, this isn't just about crunching a few numbers. No way. This is a serious, rigorous practice. We're talking about taking a big historical event, completely stripping away the story that's been built around it, and then analyzing the mathematical and statistical patterns that are left behind. That's how you uncover the real, objective forces that were actually at play.
You could almost think of this as our mission statement. The goal here isn't to just tell you another story, right? We've had enough of those. The goal is to show you the raw numbers, the statistical patterns, the hidden math that literally forced history down one path instead of another. It's a game changer.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does this actually work in the real world? Let's put data journaling into action. We're going to apply this lens to the pulse of entire civilizations and see what the data really tells us about why they rose and why they fell.
Let's start with a big one, the Roman Empire. Now, the story we all know is about gladiators, powerful emperors, epic battles, right? But the data tells a completely different story. The numbers show this undeniable pattern of runaway inflation, combined with a logistical network stretched so thin it was bound to snap. When you look at the math, its collapse wasn't just a possibility, it was practically a certainty.
Or how about the Mayan civilization? The narrative we always hear is about some great mystery, right? Like they just vanished into thin air. But when you look at the data, you find a direct, one-to-one correlation between documented climate shifts and a total collapse in their agriculture. And just like that, poof, the mystery is gone. It's not magic, it's simple cause and effect, and it's all written there, clear as day, in the numbers. You can even apply this to a single person, like Alexander the Great. The legend, the story, is all about his unparalleled military genius, this larger-than-life figure. But the data? The data shows you the mind-boggling logistical calculations it took to pull off a 10,000-mile military campaign. It wasn't just about strategy on the battlefield. It was an absolutely astounding feat of mathematics and resource management. The legend is cool, but the data is frankly more impressive. And hey, this isn't just for ancient history. It works just as well for more recent events. Think about the World Wars. The narrative usually focuses on ideology, right? Good guys versus bad guys. But if you look at the data, things like industrial output ratios, economic mobilization, you see a completely different picture. You see two fundamentally different types of conflict, defined by machinery, economics, and scale. The data gives you the how and the why in a way that the simple stories just can't.
And like we saw with Alexander, this goes way beyond just empires and wars. You can apply it to individuals. We're talking about creating data-driven biographies. Imagine stripping away all the myth-making, all the celebrity worship. Instead, we analyze a person's actual impact using hard metrics. We can map their decision patterns and uncover the stone-cold facts that the popular stories always seem to gloss over.
Okay, so we've talked about the philosophy, we've seen a few examples of how it works, but this is about more than just understanding the past. This is an invitation for you to change how you engage with the world, starting today. So here's the choice, and it's a simple one, really. Are you going to remain a passive consumer of narratives, just accepting the stories you're fed and always kind of wondering what's really true? Or are you going to become an active analyst of data, someone who doesn't just take things at face value, who questions the narrative, and who looks for the numbers underneath?
Because really, this is an invitation to join a movement, to become part of a community that's all about supporting objective, data-heavy research. It's a commitment, yeah, but it's a simple one: to value facts over feelings, to stop being a passive consumer and to start being an active analyst. To join us.
And here's the final thought I want to leave you with. We've spent this time applying this lens to the past, but the most important data, the most critical patterns, they're being generated all around us, right now. I mean, think about it. If the collapse of Rome is clearly written in its economic data, what truths about our own time, our own civilization, are hidden in the numbers today? What crucial patterns are we all missing? Now that is the question we should all be analyzing.